Welcome to my spice journey, where currently I'm travelling through Iran.
I've got no idea what I'm going to eat here, but I'm excited just the same.
Home to the oldest cuisine on earth.
You know, really awesome presentation. I haven't seen that before.
This week, I go behind closed doors.
This place really does have something about it.
To meet and eat with the real Persian people.
This place here is like the equivalent of an Iranian nightclub.
And back in Melbourne, I'm going to take what I've learned and do something totally different.
But with food, there's never any rules, so make it up as you go.
I love the flavours of the Middle East, and even better, taking that inspiration and creating something new in my own restaurant. But to really understand the food, you need to go to the source. And so, I'm off on a trip to search out age-old recipes and traditions of these ancient cultures. And then the fun part? Bringing it to life in my own kitchen. I've been in Iran for a couple of weeks, and in that time, this country's rich and dignified history has continued to surprise and impress me. I've discovered many hidden gems, but if there's one place that's regarded as the jewel in the crown of ancient Persia, it would have to be this place.
So I've just arrived here in Isfahan, and already I can feel that this place is different. It's heaps greener, it's heaps cooler. But what I'm here to see is this thing called gaz. It's an Iranian type of nougat, and I'm actually nuts about nougat, so I can't wait to see how it tastes.
Isfahan lies pretty much in the centre of Iran, which is no accident. About 400 years ago, the Shah of Iran moved his capital here as a way to oversee his kingdom and rule it from a central location. The crown jewel is this place, Imam Square. To the west is the palace, and to the east is the Shah Mosque, regarded as one of the masterpieces of Persian architecture. I'm normally guilty of emotional outbursts of a different kind, but the beauty and spirituality present in these walls is truly awesome.
This place really does have something about it. Sort of like overwhelming. You don't have to be a Muslim to appreciate Islamic art. It's beautiful in here.
Diagonally across the square from the mosque is the third pillar of Persian society, commerce. And it's in the equally impressive Imperial Bazaar that I hope to find gaz.
Hey. I'm well. I heard that you sell the best gaz in all of Isfahan.
This one with Angabi, but the price is very, very expensive.
Gaz is slightly different to nougat because instead of glucose, a local ingredient called Aniban is added to give it its stickiness.
I can't taste any distinct, difference in flavour that I haven't tasted before. Pistachio flavour is really strong. They're really good quality pistachios. But as far as the gaz itself, I don't know what the secret ingredient is.
I can't show you.
You're going to show, you can show me what it is?
It's near my shop.
Oh, great.
Can
you take me?
No problem.
The Imperial Bazaar is huge, so it's a good thing I've got Majid here to show me the way.
Salam.
این انگبین هم خواستن نشونه این this one
Wow.
بیشتر مراقب بود برای انگبین رو ببینید sweet
It is sweet. It is sweet. There's no sugar in there.
No.
So this is just the sap from the tree.
خود انگبینه.
And that's it. There's nothing added to it.
اینو بعد صافش میکنن یه مقدار.
Wow.
I'm not sure I'm understanding the explanation of this filtering process, and I suspect the language barrier may be contributing to my doubts. Luckily, the answer was in my pocket all along.
The sticky white substance extruded from the...
Sometimes it's better not to know. And it turns out Aniban is extruded from insects eating the sticky white sap found on Aniban trees. So basically bug poo.
How much is this?
200,000 tuman.
Half a kilo? 400 grams, $80.
Yeah.
It's no wonder they use the...
It's expensive.
Yeah, no wonder you use glucose. That's expensive. It's expensive. But when you look around this shop, this is awesome. The barberries that you see all over the rice and in a lot of the dishes. Linseeds, and this awesome 7-spice mix. And what he's done is arranged all the spices out the front so you can actually see what's in the mix at the back. You know, really awesome presentation. I haven't seen that before. All these old jars remind me of my father-in-law's garage. You know, he used to dry his own spices and put them in little jars like this and sort of hang them up from the ceiling. It's a really cool shop. I'm in love with it. I'd love to have a shop like this near my house.
This is just one of the hundreds of shops in the Imperial Bazaar. All of it contributing to Isfahan being listed as a World Heritage City. And somewhere in this maze of alleys is the Persian equivalent of the local pub or cafe.
So the bloke at the Gaz shop told me, while I'm in Isfahan, I have to check out this tea house. Apparently it's where everyone hangs out. Gave me some pretty sketchy directions. Straight down to the end, go right, down an alleyway, and then another right. See if I can find it.
Tea houses in Iran are big business and are a place where people can come to meet and unwind. Tea is served, of course, along with snacks and tobacco.
Thanks. Looks like I got my first round. I know what these are. I've had my fair share of argile in my time.
Argile are also known as a hookah, a shisha, or even a hubbly bubbly, and are basically a water pipe used for smoking flavoured tobacco.
And apparently these biscuits are called goshefil, which means elephant ears, and you can see why. They're the shape of the ear. They're just a fried pastry soaked in like a honey syrup or a sugar syrup. You can see it dripping out there. You know? It's more like the sweets I know in the Middle East. Drenched in syrup, really sweet, nice and crunchy. That's it. These guys are nuts about their sugar here. You can see in the bottom of this thing, it's all full of crystallised sugar. Sugar in there. Gives me a sugar rush. This place here is like the equivalent of an Iranian nightclub.
With alcohol being illegal in Iran, it seems people have found other vices. It must be a human requirement. Here, tobacco, caffeine and sugar provide the means to blow off some steam.
The place is split into two. This is where all the blokes are. But through that curtain, it seems to be a bit more of a lively atmosphere going on. There's families, heaps of single chicks, people on dates, but from what I've been told, you can't go in there just as a single buck. So I have to stay out. But it looks like that's where all the hive of activity is.
I've now covered about 1,500 kilometres of ground as I slowly make my way north to the Caspian Sea. But to give you an idea of just how big this country is, I've arrived in the 5th largest city on the planet and Iran's capital, Tehran.
This place is absolutely huge. Over 12 million people live here, and that busts out to about 18 million during the day when people are here working. The city's got an awesome backdrop with these mountains hanging out the back, and everywhere you look, peeking through the buildings, you can see them overlooking all of Tehran. Art on the walls, beautifully manicured lawns. I've got no idea what I'm going to eat here, but I'm excited just the same.
Throughout history, the Persian capital has moved many times, and Tehran, located in the north, is the 32nd city to be named the nation's capital. To show me a few of the sights of this enormous city, I've met up with a Tehranian local, Shadi Ganji.
So where are we heading for lunch? I'm starving.
I would like to take you to a popular restaurant in Tehran. That the name is Dizzy, and they serve Dizzy also.
So the restaurant's called Dizzy, and they serve Dizzy.
Exactly.
You know what you're going to have to eat.
Yeah, it's around corner.
Wow, that's quite a lineup. This place must be good.
سلام آقا. خسته نباشی. شما رو باید بگیریم؟
I'm getting more and more intrigued. I've never seen a restaurant this packed, inside and out, and apparently it's always like this.
Iranian people usually don't eat Dizzy at night.
Okay, it's just a lunchtime thing.
It's very heavy for night. Yeah.
And they only serve Dizzy here.
Only Dizzy.
When you get here, there's no menus, no waiting. You just sit down and they start bringing the food.
All cooked in that one pot. It looks very complex. What am I supposed to do? All right.
Like this, all water should go. Put bread, like this.
I think we're doing all the work for the kitchen.
Yeah.
All right, so what happens now?
After eating this, you should smash it like this.
So it's two parts.
Yeah, it's
you eat this first and then you eat this.
Finish it, yeah.
Oh, you can taste all the meats and everything in here.
Yeah.
It's really good, isn't it?
You can really see the peasant origins of this dish, and Dizzy actually refers to the pot that it's cooked in.
Shadi was telling me that there's beans, there's tomato, lamb, and all the spices in here, but I'm not really sure what to do with it next. So what do we do now?
You should smash it now.
I haven't seen anything like this before. Yeah, you got lots going on. Salad, pickles, eating the stew in 2 stages. Do you think they'll let me have a look in the kitchen?
Yeah.
Mr. Alavi is the owner and mastermind behind the restaurant.
Hey, it seems to be a bit going on.
Yeah, yes, of course.
So this is the dizzy.
Yeah, this is dizzy. As you see, it's boiling now.
And is this like finished or is this?
No. It started 6 o'clock in the morning. Now it's about 10:30, 11 o'clock. It will be ready about 12 o'clock.
So in that pot he puts the onions, the fat, the tomatoes,
fat,
the raw meat.
That's the way it gets cooked, right in here. That's all.
And is this all full?
This is all full. See?
Wow.
All is full, yes.
How many have you got in here?
Full.
This is all for lunch today.
Yeah, today we are going to sell at least about 600-700.
600 or 700 people
600-700 deals.
in that restaurant that I walked through.
Yeah.
It's a pretty small restaurant for 600 people.
The capacity is about 120 people.
You're turning it over 5 or 6 times.
They eat and leave and come and go.
Mate,
until 5:30, 6 o'clock.
You've got a good business here.
Now I understand the Iranian secret of fast food. Get the diners to do the hard work, pounding the ingredients. Yet another unique Iranian bread, this time cooked over hot pebbles.
As you see, Shane, this is an Iranian bread called sangak.
Really wet, the dough. It's not like a normal bread where you sort of knead it. He pours it on like a crepe or something.
That's right, you see.
And the rocks are all nice and smooth inside. And there's a huge gas burner on the side that's shooting flames out into the roof.
After about 3 minutes, brings it over here.
There's still rocks stuck in the bread.
Yeah, rock on the bread.
So do you ever get people breaking their tooth?
No report to me yet.
None that you're going to admit to me.
I can see why dizzy is best eaten during the day, and it takes a major hike in the mountains to walk it off.
This is a really nice place.
Yeah, I like here. Here is one of great place for people to come and walking and go to mountain, and for young people also is very good to come here and get away from people and
get some privacy.
parents. Yeah.
You know, all the smell of kebab in the air is making me hungry again.
Yeah, me too. We can try it. There is a place near here. Do you like?
Show me where.
Yeah.
With so many people living in the city, it can be hard to escape. This little hangout in the hills is where Tehranis go to get away. Chilla kebab is considered the national dish of Iran.
That I told you about.
The meat is cooked my favourite way, over coal, and sumac is often sprinkled on top. The traditional accompaniments are bread and rice, and in the old days, a raw egg was cracked on top.
And they serve kebab with bread, not with rice.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is the first time I've seen a plate of meat with no rice. It's gorgeous. Oh, truly good. In any country where you've got a nice view and you're outside, if you can have a barbecue, a grill like that,
exactly.
It's good.
Yeah, I like it.
you can taste the smoke and the char of the coal. It's beautiful. My father-in-law used to cook chicken wings for us, and in Lebanon they do a chicken wings called jouane, like spiced chicken wings, cooked the same on the grill. Beautiful, I love it. I can see why people love coming up here. The food's beautiful, it's a beautiful setting, great company.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks. I think I could live here in Tehran.
Exactly, yeah.
One of the most interesting things I saw while I was in Iran was this dish called dizzy. All the meat and all the sauce and everything was put in a little mortar and pestle. You smash it up and you eat it somehow. I was blown away. And it reminded me of my favourite dish in the world, Vietnamese beef soup. So I'm going to use that inspiration from the dizzy and the dish that I love, and I think they're going to work really well together. Rather than lamb or beef, I'm using duck for my dizzy, and it's going to be a dish that's both an entree and a main. Sound easy? It all starts with the duck bones. Straight into the oven until they're golden brown. Some of the spices I'm going to use, cardamom, star anise, and cinnamon. And what I'm going to do is make an Asian-inspired sort of master stock with duck. I'm going to serve that with a noodle salad and some pickled shallots, and I'm going to serve the meat component, sort of like a san choy bao. I'm going to start with the one constant in this dish, the duck soup. I'm going to use lemongrass, galangal, chilli, ginger, and some shallots. I'm going to chop those up and get them in the pot with the duck bones. Now,
If you don't have a big stock pot at home to cook this stock in, like I don't today, it's no big deal. You can separate it over 2 pots. Probably cooks a little bit quicker. So I'm using duck legs. Look, duck breasts have a tendency to dry out. The duck leg's got more sinews in it, and it's going to be really beautiful when we finish up the soup. And the liquid I'm going to use to make this stock is duck stock. Now, we've made this duck stock, but you could easily use a store-bought duck stock or even a store-bought chicken stock, because it doesn't really matter, because we're going to add those roast duck bones in later. They're going to add all that duck flavour we're looking for. So just enough to cover.
Then it's onto the stove, where to bulk it out, I'm adding some potatoes. While I wait for that to cook, I'm going to make the dressing. That will definitely push this dish more towards Southeast Asia.
So I've got some diced shallots, some diced chilli, got some Cabernet vinegar. I'm going to add a tablespoon of brown sugar. And I'm just going to get that on the stove, bring it up to the boil, and really simply just pour it over my shallots and my chilli, bit of olive oil over the top, and a little bit of coriander seed. Just crack that open. So that vinegar should be up to the boil. Yes, it is. And I'm just going to pour that over my chilli and shallots, and then just give it a quick drizzle in some olive oil. And just leave that sit aside.
By now, my stock is bubbling along nicely, so it's a good opportunity to take out the potatoes and skim off any excess fat.
And I think it's time to check on those duck bones. Spot on. Shake them off a bit. Just put them in the stock, because that's going to impart all that roasted duck flavour into our soup. So now all I have to do with that is just leave it alone. I don't want to hassle it, I don't want to stir it, and that's going to tick away for at least an hour and a half, maybe even 3, until it's almost reduced in half and it's got a really nice rich colour. Next thing I have to do is start to get the fresh components ready for my little salad, which is going to breathe all the life into it. So I'm going to get my ginger on.
I love ginger, really finely julienne, along with some tomatoes prepared the same way. And now for the fresh herbs.
Let's get a nice big bowl of ice water and just start picking the leaves. I'm going to be using mint, Vietnamese mint, some of that shiso, some of this beautiful lemon balm, purple basil, some coriander. I think that's all we're going to need. Just gently shake off all that water, and that's pretty much done. All I need to do is let that dry, put it aside, and it's ready to eat. Get it in a bowl. All right, that duck's been cooking for a little while now, and it's really tender. I'm just going to take those duck legs out. And you can smell all that galangal, all that star anise with that roasted duck flavour. And I'm just going to let that settle so all the residual fat that's in there comes to the top, and I can just strain it off while I pick my meat.
The first of my dizzy dish is nearly ready. And after getting all the meat off the bone, it's time for the carbs. In Tehran, they use sangyak, that beautiful bread cooked over hot pebbles. But I wanted to keep it a bit lighter, so I'm going with some thick rice noodles cooked until they're soft. With the noodles as the base, it's time to bring it all together. Ginger, tomato, goji berries, barberries, and some spiced candied orange peel.
And just to really bring this thing to life, I'm going to give it a quick splash with some fish sauce. I don't want to add too much, just a splash.
I'm topping it off with some fried shallots, sesame seeds, and some pre-soaked bologna beans before mixing it together.
And that's step 1 of our entree.
I filled the jug with the duck stock and served the pickle as an accompaniment. And finally, it's ready to eat.
You can eat it any way you want. You know, if I was going to eat it, I'd put a little bit of the pickle on, maybe eat one of the nuts, tailor taste, need some herbs, put some herbs, and then keep going from there. But with food, there's never any rules, so make it up as you go. Time to get cracking on the second part of this dish.
I love the drama and the interactivity of those dizzy pots. So for the next part of this meal, I'm mixing my duck meat with potatoes, beans, and a little bit more of that duck stock.
All right, now for the fun part. What you need to do is you need to pound up all that stuff in there so it creates like a paste that we can put in our little lettuce cups. Now you just have to put these things together. So grab a little bit of our duck, beans and potato mix. Touch of that pickle, just to help cut the flavour of the duck.
For crunch, some soy roasted cashews and a garnish of baby basil and shiso.
And I know this isn't traditional, but this is the second part of my take of an Asian-inspired duck dizzy.
And with my 2 for the price of 1 dish done, it's time for dessert.
If you remember that bloke in the souk making his gaz in that shop, you know, that pistachio nougat, I thought that gooey nougat would be a really good filling for some donuts. So I'm going to give it a go.
To start with, sugar, glucose, water.
I need to bring that up to 118 degrees. But while I'm waiting for that, I'll get my syrup on the go. Then I'm going to coat these donuts in.
I'm warming some honey and orange blossom. And in my other pan, heating my sugar, glucose and water, all up to 118 degrees Celsius. And while I wait for that, I'm whisking some egg whites up to soft peaks.
They're done. It's just about there. First time I've actually put a nougat together. I've made plenty of Italian meringues, which this is pretty much all it is, just with a hell of a lot more sugar. So you want to be really careful that you just slowly drip that in. The heat from that sugar is what's slowly cooking those eggs. All right, that's done. Some soaked barberries.
Barberries are one of Iran's best-kept secrets. So along with the pistachios, I'm throwing a handful in. They'll give it a sweet, yet acidic taste that will really cut through.
So sticky. Just pushing them into my icing sugar and corn flour mix. And what that's going to do is going to stop them from sticking together. So it'll let me roll up some little balls to put inside my donuts. Then all I'm going to do is just toss those in that mix so they don't stick together. Just roll that into a little ball. You end up with like a little nougat truffle. That's going to be the gooey bit inside my donut. All right, syrup's done, nougat's made, have to make the donut batter. Now, this is one of the easiest donut batters in the world to make, but it's one of the best because it goes really crunchy on the outside and it's soft enough that it lets you put things on the inside.
Flour, dried yeast, a pinch of sugar and salt, and some warm water to activate the yeast. Then let it rest for half an hour.
You just have a look at that. It's doubled in size and it's really light. All I want to do, wet my hand so that dough's not going to stick to it, and just pick up some of that dough. All I'm going to do is grab some of that nougat, put it in the middle of that dough, and over to my oil.
Fry them until they're golden brown. Then drizzle some of that honey sauce over the top.
Quick handful of pistachios. You could serve it just like that, but I think I'll serve it in a nice little bowl. Because if I put a bowl like that in front of me, I'm going to eat the whole thing. All right. That looks great, but I really want to know what these things taste like. I'm just going to... Oh. It's so sweet, but when you get one of those barberries, it just really cuts that sugar out and really helps it a lot. I reckon we're on a winner here with these donuts. Can't stop eating them. That's my Isfahan gas-filled donuts.
Where Isfahan showed me the beauty, Tehran showed me the bustle. But both places served up some inspired meals that highlight a country whose history spans millennia. I'm nearly at the end of my journey. And next time, I reach the shores of the Caspian Sea.
I can't believe it, I finally made it here.
The original home of caviar.
That is one weird-looking fish, man.
Before finishing up very close to Turkey, in the city of Tabriz.
And if you're going to have a sweet, do it bloody properly. And have a sickly sweet one.